Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head up to Lerwick in the Shetland Islands, and this is actually only my second review from a brewery up there. The other one of course came from Valhalla Brewery, who do make some pretty nice beers as well actually, but this is going to be my first visit to Lerwick Brewery, who of course have the Shetland pony as their symbol, and this one is the Lerwick IPA, which should be quite an interesting one for us to try. A shout out on this video to Brian Sheriff of Ginger's Beer Reviews. He used to work for these guys in Glasgow actually as one of their sales managers or something like this. So a big shout out to him. He's got a nice channel, make sure you go and check that out as well. I'll put the link in the description below, but it's always cool to go and have a look at new breweries that I've never encountered before when I'm at home for a little while. So very much looking forward to trying this one. But as always with my reviews, I'll give you a little bit of history on the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my future reviews that hopefully I can do from Lerwick Brewery. Very first time I'm trying one of their beers, of course. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do subscribe to the channel. The whole channel uses a geography tagging system, so you can use the channel homepage and search for beer based on country, city or state, whatever you're interested in. Do check out the whiskey and sake reviews as well, and as always please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. So yeah, always interesting to hear from you guys, and your support is hugely appreciated. But anyway, a little bit about Lerwick Brewery. So Lerwick Brewery, as you may have guessed, are based in Lerwick on Shetland, and they were founded back in 2012 by the Mercer brothers, Graham, Jimmy and John, and apparently they started the company just as a bit of a hobby and actually had very little experience of anything to do with brewing, but their beers proved to be very popular and they've grown quite strongly ever since that. So the brewery is based at Steny Hill, and it's got a 12 barrel brew kit basically capable of producing around 18,000 bottles of beer per week. So John's daughter Isla joined the brewery, and she's actually responsible for much of the marketing. She's actually put a lot of work into the brewery to make it grow, and I've noticed that these beers they've just all of a sudden kind of appeared actually in the supermarkets and things like that, so she must be doing quite well with that. But over the last few years they've signed a few different deals, distribution deals, and they also signed a contract with Cairngorm Brewery in Aviemore, which has allowed them to increase their capacity quite significantly. And the brewing team at the brewery are Rana Tuberville and John Pulley, and it's actually, this is one of 3 breweries I can think of in Scotland who have female brewers, and that's always cool to find because brewing and beer and things like that really is a kind of male dominated thing. So the other ones I can think of is there's the guys at Loch Lomond Brewery. I think her name's Fiona. There is there's the women who do the Wuha Brewery as well, and of course then you've got Lerwick Brewery as well. So yeah, always cool to see that, and hopefully we have a good experience with their beer. So just to list the other ones you can get from these guys before we crack in, there's the 60 Degrees North Lager, there's the Skipper's Ticket Pale Ale, the Tushkar Oatmeal Stout, and there's also the Azure as well, and then you've got this guy, the Lerwick IPA. So yeah, that's all you need to know about the brewery for just now. As I say, the brewery website's in the description below, and you can check that out if you want to learn more. So on the side here it says, Lerwick, Shetland's capital, is a vibrant mix of the old and new. From its old harbour filled with modern boats to its historic buildings interspread with new housing and business, Lerwick is a town that moves with the times but remains proud of its roots. Our brewery fits in with this ethos, reclaiming an old building and giving it a new purpose. We've extended this concept to our IPA too, taking a classic style and giving it a modern twist. So yeah, should be quite interesting. As I said, 5% IPA. I'll just bring up the camera and let you have a little look at the artwork of this one before we open it up. So there you can see the Shetland pony on this one. They're actually really cute little horses, very nice natured little things. And there you can see that is on the bottle cap too. One thing I should also mention about the Shetland Islands, and it's the same as the case with Orkney. I've done quite a few beer reviews from Orkney, of course. The Shetland Islands and the Orkney Islands only became Scottish in like 1468 or something like that. It was when one of the Scottish kings married Catherine of Denmark, and it was given to Scotland as part of the dowry. So a lot of people in the Orkney and Shetland Islands have names like Magnus, you know, is Nordic sounding names and things like that, and the old Norse heritage there. And a lot of the places, of course, are named like that too. So very interesting place, somewhere that I do need to go and visit at some point in the near future, but very nicely presented. I do like the Shetland ponies, so we'll get this out and we'll get on with the tasting then. 5% IPA from Lerwick Brewery up in the Shetlands. So yeah, let's get this guy out and we'll get into the glass. It actually looks really nice, very nice and clear. But that's one of the big battles, I guess, for this brewery. They do actually have a hub in Glasgow. I remember Brian saying on his channel They do have a bit of a hub in Glasgow, and of course for these very rural breweries, one of the big battles is actually to get a distribution deal, because it would be very expensive for these rural breweries to transport their beers themselves. So as you can see with this one, it's poured a really nice, actually sort of coppery amber colour. There's a finger and a little bit, maybe a finger and a half of a frothy, slightly creamy coloured head, actually I would say, on this one. There's a few big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, but a few little ones just going up towards the bottom of that head there. This beer, I'm not sure if you can see that, but it is actually crystal clear. There's just a little bit of condensation on the glass, but the beer itself is pretty damn clear. A lot of little bubbles heading up towards the bottom of the head there, but it looks very, very nice. So let's have a look at the aroma on this one then. That's interesting. It's actually very... It's got a bit of caramel in it. It's quite a toasted caramel, but it's got a lot of kind of biscuity and grainy character as well. I would really say that about this one. Yeah, really nice kind of fruity character coming out as well. It's got some sort of grassy floral aromaticity to it. It's a kind of mix between a bit of citrusy fruit, and it also smells like there's a little bit of almost reddish fruit coming out of this one. But it's quite a malty nose, this one. As I said, it's got a bit of caramel, it's quite toasted, there's biscuit in there, you can smell that sort of biscuity, kind of syrupy and cereally character. It's a bit toasted, but there's a bit of floral and kind of grassy character coming out from the hops, maybe a little bit earthy as well. And the fruit is quite interesting. This one isn't one of the more kind of pungent noses you're going to come across from an IPA. It's more of a kind of subtle but a little bit complex kind of nose out of this beer. So it's quite interesting, as I say, bready, a little bit of kind of cereally character, some kind of toasted caramel, a bit of biscuity note as well, some floral notes, a bit grassy, and also some fruit, a little bit of fruity character, kind of citrusy, maybe a tiny little bit tropical as well, but that's very minimal, and a bit of kind of red fruit. But it's an interesting beer, this one. It does smell more like an old kind of English IPA rather than one of the more modern American ones. So yeah, take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma of this beer before you get stuck in, but we'll have a go of this one now. So this is the Lerwick IPA from the Lerwick Brewery up on the Shetland Islands here in Scotland. Slàinte. Oh yeah, that's definitely an English style IPA. It's by no means an American one. Definitely an English IPA. Yeah, this one really leans more towards that kind of, instead of the kind of American style IPAs, this one's really leaning more towards the kind of classic real ale style of brewing. So in the middle of your palate there's a kind of bready malt base that goes right across the middle of your tongue. On top of that you're getting these kind of cereally, slightly spicy characters. It actually does get a little bit spicy as it progresses into the aftertaste. There's a sort of biscuity kind of syrupy thing in there as well. You've got that kind of biscuity, grainy syrup, kind of corny syrup sort of thing. There's a little bit of that in there, but the spiciness of the cereal that's in this beer, that's the kind of main component in the malt base. There is a little bit of caramel sweetness, but not too much, I'd say. Yeah, there's a little bit of it in the middle just towards the front of the tongue, but overall it really is more a kind of bready and cereally malt base that this beer has. It's a little bit toasted as well, and that's what's probably giving it some of that kind of darker feel that it has. Yeah, in the back corners of the palate I'd say you can get a little bit of earthiness out of this beer. As you come further forward on the palate you can get some of the more floral and grassy character, but the earthiness actually does spread a little bit forward. It's kind of floral around the front corners of the palate, then around the very front curve it is more of a sort of grassy character. Yeah, and behind the front curve of the tongue there is a little bit of citric fruit, but for me this beer really does taste as if it has the English hops in it. you've got that kind of just underpinning earthiness. And when you've tasted a few beers and things like that, when you've tasted beers from all over the world, you can really tell where the hops come from. And I do think they're using English hops in here. But yeah, there's a little bit of a kind of citrusy fruit just behind the front curve of the tongue there, but the kind of dominating flavours in this beer are the sort of cereally, the kind of that kind of slightly spicy cereally things. So it's almost a bit like a kind of bitter malt base, one of these kind of English style bitter malt bases, but not quite as sweet as some of them would be. But yeah, I do like the hoppy side of the beer actually. The kind of floral and grassy character that the beer has is quite nice, and it counteracts the malt base a little bit too. It's quite interesting because it comes in, you get that big kind of blast of that cereally character, and then it moves to the slightly wetter hoppiness, and then the spicier character from the malt base comes out again. It's quite interesting how this beer works. But yeah, the floral character in this one is actually a little bit dark as well. It does have this kind of darker aspect to the floral aromaticity in the beer. I think it's definitely English hops that they're using in this one. There could well be something like a little bit of Centennial in there for America, but I think just on the from my experience, I do think this is more of an English hop beer because of the earthiness that it has as well. But they may have used a combination, of course. In terms of the mouthfeel of this one, I'd say it's mid-bodied, but somewhere between light and mid-bodied actually. It is a very drinkable beer. Carbonation is a little bit crisp on this one. It does have a very light and quite wet mouthfeel. There's a wee bit of maltiness a wee bit of sweetness from the malt base, but overall it is quite a kind of spicy and slightly drier malt base, I'd say. There's a bit of bitterness from the hops too. It's that dark floral aromaticity that's lingering there, and there's a wee bit of fruity character as well. But overall, it's quite an interesting beer. In terms of recommending this one, I would say if you like the sort of English style IPA, where it's more focused on the sort of floral and grassy side of things, this is a beer that you are going to enjoy. If you want a more American kind of fruity IPA, then this probably isn't the one for you. But if you like that sort of almost English, the ESB kind of malt base, it does have a good bit of that cereally character. If you like that and you like a sort of floral, grassy, aromatic hop, then you are going to enjoy this beer. So yeah, give it a go and see what you think. Hopefully I can try some of the other beers from these guys in the fairly near future, but it's been really cool to do my first review from Lerwick Brewery. So yeah, as always, let me know in the comment section below your own thoughts on this beer. Let me know your favourite beers from the brewery as well. Always interesting to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, but until the next time, like, subscribe, share, all the usual stuff. Always interested to hear from you guys that are supporting the channel, and it is hugely appreciated. Until the next time, do go and try some of the Lerwick Brewery beers. I've heard that the Azure is a really nice one, so hopefully I can do that as my next review. But until then, it's Slangy just now, and I will catch you soon. Go and have a look at Shetland as well. It's supposed to be very, very nice. Cheers.